What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 1.8 second podcast with me, your host, Andrew, and Cody here. We're going to be talking about McLaren today and the 2023 Formula One season and the ups and downs that it was for McLaren. You know?
Yeah. It's crazy. A roller coaster.
It was a roller coaster. I mean, we started off with the offseason moves McLaren made, and that was with bringing in Oscar Piastri. Some would say stealing him from Alpine.
That's right.
As Alpine announced they had signed him, and then he went on Twitter and took to Twitter and put out a whole statement saying, "This is false. They have not signed me. I do not know where I'm driving for 2024." And McLaren saw that opportunity, swooped in and took him right out of their hands.
Got the Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year, baby. And then they also promoted Andre Stella to the team principal, which was a great move looking at it from now. But looking at the beginning of the season, it was a very up in the air, questionable move. And then moving on from the offseason, starting with winter testing, McLaren had the worst car I have ever seen on a Formula One track.
Driving a tractor on a Formula One track.
With just not enough run time compared to some of the other teams that had their run plans perfectly, no interruptions, anything like that, which led straight into Bahrain. Same track, same difficulties. Oscar DNFing, right?
Yeah.
And
Lando P17.
Yeah. Both managing issues too. Lando with a air leak and Oscar with multiple problems, which is why he ended up DNFing. And it didn't get any better from there. Going straight to Saudi Arabia was just as bad with what were there?
Lando P17, Oscar P15.
I guess not as bad when you look at it from that point of view. I mean, they both finished the race this time.
That is true.
They got all the way there.
They
got their laps done, which was definitely a massive improvement from Bahrain. For I think it was a week span between the two races. But I mean, until what would be Austria, it was very bad. Poor performances all around, especially in Miami, where when you looked at the track map during the race, it looked like we were in the lead by 30 seconds. No, we were just behind by 12 minutes.
Right, exactly.
And Oscar, Rookie of the Year, as you said, had a great year. His first points coming in his home country in Australia for the Aussie driver.
That was a crazy race, by the way.
It was a crazy race.
See,
We
stayed up to how late? What time was it?
The race started at 3 a.m. EST. Or what, 1 a.m. EST?
I don't know. We were up
Finished
for
at
ages.
like 4. I don't know. It was like a 3-hour race. Lots of red flags, lots of yellows.
It was a fun one, though.
Lots of safety cars. It was fun. It was very entertaining. Didn't know where people were going to finish. Oscar eating points. I think Lando got points as well, which definitely helped McLaren, move up a couple places in that bottom tier, hoping to not be down there for long. Which, bringing in Andre Stella helped us with the upgrade package we brought to Austria, which was only on Lando's car at the moment, which showed true speed, seconds gained, had Lando placed P4. I think he qualied P2, P3, somewhere around there. Or at least in the sprint. He had anti-stall in the sprint. That's what it was. He didn't do too well in the sprint, but sprints it's a different story.
Right.
And then this run, or the same upgrade package came to Oscar when we were at Silverstone, Lando's home race. And we had the best performance we had all year long. Lando led the British Grand Prix. I can just hear it playing in my head, just the announcer. Lando leads the British Grand Prix. Constantly playing always. And it didn't last long because Max in a Red Bull.
Right.
And he came home P2 and Lewis behind him, and then Oscar P4, his highest ever placement in Formula One. Obviously.
That was an awesome podium. Lando and Lewis up there.
Yeah, two Brits
home race
for the British Grand Prix.
Awesome. Love that.
Don't remember where George finished, but nobody cares about George. And then this started a streak of podiums, which I think Lando had back-to-back podiums, and then we had a couple off races. And then I don't remember exactly what race it was that we started our streak, truthfully. I can pull it up, obviously. We had 6 total podiums in 4 races, which was, if you would have told me that at the beginning of the year for McLaren, I would have been like, what are you talking about?
Right, yeah.
You not see us? The back marker of all back markers? It was terrible. But this performance just kept getting better. Anything you got about that?
No.
No, nothing. You don't got anything on it?
No, it was crazy though. An insane comeback from the boys. Literally, like we said earlier, driving a tractor to competing. It was awesome.
For real. I mean, you probably can't see it, but got the chrome livery here. McLaren MCL 60 special edition. LN4 baby. Another thing about this crazy year is the fact that it happened on the 60th anniversary of McLaren too. Speaking of the special liveries, we had, I think, 6 different special liveries. There was the chrome livery for Silverstone. There was the Triple Crown livery for a couple of races. It was awesome. Beautiful, tying in multiple aspects of what McLaren really is as a racing team. And then you had the Stealth livery, which was the black and papaya. Then you also had a variation of that for Las Vegas, and there was the last one for Abu Dhabi, which was just Abu Dhabi-esque, I guess. I don't really know how to explain that in any other ways. Am I missing any?
I can't think of it.
I don't think so either. I don't think we had any that like too crazy of livery variations. Moving on from there, we not only did we throughout the season improve in performance on the track, it was also in the pit stops.
Right.
We saw a huge turnaround with the new upgrade too. I'm not sure if that had to do with just the overall, what's that word?
I don't know.
Emotion or something like that of the team. There's just dedication to it. I mean,
working better together, everyone on the same page.
Yeah, being able to get more points maybe brought the spirits. Yeah. That's what I was looking for up of the team, which helped us crank out at Qatar, the craziest, hottest Grand Prix this year with drivers fainting after the race, all that. We saw a double podium out of McLaren there as well. I think it was a P2, P3 with a world record pit stop for Lando with 1.8 seconds hits.
1.8 second pod.
And that helped secure his podium, honestly, because during that race, everybody was mandated to only be able to do a certain amount of laps on each tire, which I think was 18. So no matter how long the tires could last or how far you thought you could push them, you could only do so many. So pit stops were a vital thing in that race, and we got the better of it, baby.
The world record holders, 1.8 seconds.
I don't know how anybody's going to touch that, but Red Bull will do it next year.
They will, probably. Somehow, some way.
For real. So moving on to specific stats for each driver. We had Lando with 7 total podiums, 1 retirement, 205 points in the Drivers' Championship.
Retirement coming in Vegas?
Yes, with his big crash.
Yeah.
Which I can only hear the memes in my head now that I've mentioned it. And then, which helped him place 6th in the drivers, which he could have placed higher, but Abu Dhabi wasn't our best circuit. Not with the package that we had brought. More high-speed corners. They didn't have it as many as we would want. And just not the best weekend for us, but we still got points out of it, and that's all that mattered, which helped us secure P4 in the Constructors. And then Oscar had 2 podiums, 1 sprint win, his maiden win, highest placement ever in a race, not in a Grand Prix. We'll probably see that next year, though.
Yeah.
Kid's super talented. And he had 3 retirements, for the Rocket Rookie. That's what I put on here. And he placed 9th in the drivers to secure, I think, the 3rd best ever performance by a rookie, which
like Lewis is ahead of him or something.
Lewis is one of the only ones ahead of him. And then there's
that's Lewis Hamilton.
Multiple McLaren rookies on there. Lando's on that list. Kevin Magnussen, drivers that like. I mean, I don't feel like Kevin Magnussen's that great of a comparison point anymore because he's stuck in the Haas, but he's in Formula One, so he's one of the best 20 drivers out there. Which these 2 performances helped McLaren secure a top 4 in the Constructors, which is incredible considering where we started this year. Don't think we would ever get here. What about you?
No, never. It was crazy, insane.
Crazy, insane. That's all you got.
Yep.
Which takes us to this coming year of Formula One for 2024. 24 races, 1 more than last year, if you included Imola. Little bit better on transportation-wise on the teams, not having to go across country back and forth. What are your hopes for the 2024 season? What are you expecting out of McLaren at least?
I think this is a common hope with a lot of McLaren fans. I would love to see Lando get that first win. I'm sure you feel the exact same way.
Oh, I do.
I'd love to see if McLaren could finish top 3 in the Constructors. I think we have big hopes. The way we ended last season. I know the boys are probably working hard, boys and girls working hard in the factory. Hoping we come out with a rocket ship. People are saying we have the best odds to compete with the Red Bull. I don't know.
Especially Max.
I'm just hoping.
Max is a little
That'd be
scared of
awesome.
us.
I know. He's shaking. No, he's not.
No, he's not. It's Max. My hopes, 2024. Lando win. Oscar win. I'd love to see them both get their wins.
A 1-2 would be impeccable.
Oh, a 1-2. That is my dream.
Yeah.
Or a 1-2 with Carlos for Lando and Carlos. A Carlando podium. Mm-hmm. That'd be amazing as well. But I do want to see Lando get his win before Oscar, just because I love you, Oscar. But don't do that to Lando.
This boy Lando needs it, man.
I mean, worst case, Oscar gets his first. It'll just light a fire under Lando, hopefully, and that'll make him get his first win the next race, or the next race that's viable to our car. I mean, but before any of that, my initial hope is we come out looking strong at winter testing here, and I think it's in just about a month and a half.
Almost. Yep.
I got a countdown for it, if I can find it. A month and 9 days, so less than 2 months.
Yeah,
which is very exciting. I hope that we can get all our run plans out, and then on top of that, we can come out strong at Bahrain. If we can get top 5 at Bahrain, I'll be perfectly fine. I'm not expecting us to be a strong car on the slow speeds, stronger than we were at the end of last year, I hope, and then just carry on from there. I mean, we're going to be on that side of the world for a little bit with Australia, Japan. Japan's a great track for us. All of that being on the first half of the calendar pretty quickly. But I'd love to see Lando also win at Silverstone.
Yeah,
I think that would just be incredible. Yeah. Maybe an all-Brit podium would be impressive too. I mean, I don't want George to be on the podium, but an all-Brit podium is amazing in itself. I mean, if we can get 2 Aussies on the Australia podium, that'd be awesome as well with Danny and Oscar. I mean, there's just so much that could be happening with this next season, especially amongst other teams, even though we only talked about really McLaren today.
Yeah, you never know what could happen with Checo. You know,
he's not going to be there long.
There's a lot of conversation with with Liam Lawson being in the mix and Danny, of course.
I mean, Liam's guaranteed a seat next year, according to Red Bull, whether that's with AlphaTauri or Red Bull.
We're going to have a fun, silly season.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going to be
have a proper
super silly.
Season.
What are you saying?
I said we're going to have a proper, silly season.
Yeah, unlike last year where
everybody's
boring. Still on the grid. I mean, the craziest thing we got was Danny breaking his wrist and Nick getting kicked out before the halfway point of the season, and seeing Liam Lawson out there, who I have high hopes for because he's a very fast driver.
We had some fun for a minute. It was like, is Lewis going to re-sign? It was all fake.
Never retiring.
It was all fake, man.
Lewis is never retiring. He wants that 8th before he retires, but the real question is, can he get it?
Right.
But that's my hopes for 2024.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what this season brings us.
I'm excited.
What DNFs, what crashes, what
drama. It should
drama.
be a lot more fun, or a lot better start, I hope, than last season.
If it's not, I might just cry myself to sleep, honestly. Yeah. I don't think I can handle another comeback. I'd rather be up there and know we're up there from the start.
If we had the pace that we had at the beginning of the season that we had at the end of the season, it would have been totally different.
We'd be around. We'd be in the fight for P2.
Yeah,
for sure. Would have been up there with Mercedes and Ferrari. But that's for this year.
Yep.
It's all for this year to hope we are in the fight for what they have. I want their money.
I do. Yep.
I want it all.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make them retire.
Yep.
I want to make them all retire. Anything else? Closing statements?
I think that's all I got. I think I'm good.
You good? Well, thanks for tuning in to the 1.8 second pod with Andrew and Cody. We talked a little bit about McLaren. Maybe next time we'll talk about a couple of the other teams. You never know.
Never know.
Get talk more about this grid that's going to be super entertaining this year in the 2024 Formula One season. Thank you.